Next, we're going to take inventory of all of our digital assets under this accessibility project. Now, our project may consist of only one digital asset, or it may consist of several. It's all going to depend on what your objective is. So, let's say your objective is compliance with the new ADA Title II web rule. In that case, your project is going to include all of your digital assets. But let's say your objective is merely to get an accessibility conformance report. You may know this as a VPAT. Then here we're just going to likely focus in on one digital asset. So, with that in mind, let's take inventory of all of the digital assets that fall under this project. These can include websites, web apps, mobile apps, web pages, social media channels, PDFs, etc. If the number of assets is overwhelming, so let's just say you have 5 different websites and 10 web apps and 7 mobile apps, then I recommend just focusing in on 5 or less. And then that narrowed focus is where you will go from for your project. Also, if the number of pages, screens, and or unique content within a single digital asset is overwhelming, let's say you have a website with literally dozens of pages and tens of screens, then if that's the case, let's focus in on the most viewed, the most trafficked, the most used, etc. You can look at your analytics to help you determine this, but this is just getting at making sure that we have something that is manageable as we're working on accessibility. And along with this, we want to prioritize our digital assets. So now that we've narrowed our inventory, if we needed to narrow our inventory, we're going to prioritize the digital assets based on the assigned importance that you assign to the different digital assets. So we may be able to work simultaneously on different digital assets. Let's say there's a website and then we also need to remediate PDFs. We can work on these two simultaneously because you're really going to have 2 different teams working on each. But when it comes to a website and a mobile app, unless you have teams dedicated to each asset, you're probably only going to work on one at a time. So here I recommend prioritizing the digital assets just based on whatever importance you assign. Maybe your mobile app is what takes priority. Either way, just know what you're working on first. Also, you want to inventory as much as you can the third party integrations that are integrated into your digital assets. So think about, what are you reliant upon? What do you not control? What do you source out? What is embedded or what is used as a plugin in your digital asset? Think about platforms. So it could be a payment platform, it could be a payment portal, it could be a mobile app, it could be any type of integration, whatever the case is. If it's from a third party and you are using it as a part of your digital experience, it could also include PDFs. You want to make sure to take as best inventory of this as possible so that you're aware of these third party integrations that you rely on. And when it comes to third-party integrations, this is often a source of practical and or technical difficulty in reaching full conformance because again, you don't have control of these third-party integrations. So here you may want to request the accessibility status of this integration. You may want to ask for a VPAT or an ACR from the third-party integration. You may want to look at their accessibility statement, see if they even have a page that talks about accessibility. If that's not the case, then you may want to search for alternatives. Every now and then, it may make sense to actually audit a third-party integration, but if nothing can come of that audit, then you may want to start looking at alternatives. You may also want to consider removing, and you may want to ask if customization is possible, if you can customize the third party integration. So that may also be something you want to look into. And then also, there's the possibility that you weigh the option of keeping the third party integration. I can tell you that going through these bullet points, many of our clients go through the same considerations with their digital asset because they are reliant upon these different third party integrations and they have to make the decision, well, how accessible is it? What accessibility issues exist? Is this something they're willing to work on? If we come to them with an accessibility issue, will they fix it? If so, how long will it take them? And so on. So You need to be aware of third-party integrations because they can very much affect your accessibility project. And now we get to resources. So if you need help with audit or support services, you can reach out to me at accessible.org. At accessible.org, you will also find a cost calculator. Tracker is a platform that tracks all accessibility issues, not just those flagged by a scan. It also has AI to help your team with fixes. And in the description for this lesson, I will include the full playlist to this training. There will also be updates, additional resources. Those will all be found in the description. We will continue on with the next lesson.